David and I are trying to have a conversation, but Eddie's so angry about so many different things. I'm very glad that you've arrived.
Oh, there's a surprise.
Well, he's angry at the manufacturers.
Yeah.
What did you say about me during the season? You said I was speaking out of my...
No, I didn't say that.
What did you say?
Why?
I'm on your side for once.
Absolutely, I'm delighted to hear it.
I'd like to hear... Could I ask you a question, please? The question is, do you think that Mercedes, honestly now, do you think that Mercedes and Ferrari are doing enough for our sport? We saw last week that the might of the FIA and the might of Bernie couldn't get a basic rule agreed that fundamentally in years and many years gone by would have been a slam dunk. What's going on, Christian?
Well, I think it's not their fault. I think the rules that we have at the moment have driven us to where we are, and Mercedes have done a wonderful job, and they deserve all the, you know, the applause that comes with the success that they have. I think the problem is the damage that does in the meantime for the promoter and for the governing body.
And for the fans.
And ultimately for the fans, because what we want is a product that entertains at the end of the day. And I think the promoter that owns the sport needs to say, right, this is what it's going to be. The regulator writes the regulations and get on with it.
But that's not happening.
So it is something that needs to happen. Yeah. I think indeed will happen.
Who can make this difference?
Yeah. Who can make the difference? Probably CVC. They own the business at the end of the day. It's their investment. And I think, you know, Bernie needs to be backed by them to get the job done.
Not to close the gate after the horse is bolted, but who was the architect of where we are today? Who was the bright spark that said, this is the future of Formula One?
Well, unfortunately, the mistake was made when a bunch of engineers were put in a room and were told come up with an engine, and nobody mentioned cost to them, nobody mentioned supply to them, and nobody mentioned the show. So we ended up with a really quiet, very expensive, very fantastic piece of engineering. But I think we've got to go back to basics. Formula One for me, you know, as a kid growing up, I grew up watching Nigel Mansell, even watching you, in aggressive cars, physical cars to drive, fast cars, and it needs to be man and machine at the absolute limit and total entertainment.
Christian, ever since I came into motorsport, or indeed Formula One in particular, every cost-cutting mechanism that I've ever been part of has cost twice as much money as it originally was. What is going on?
Well, unfortunately, whenever you make change, inevitably there is a cost. But, you know, sometimes teams, manufacturers need saving from themselves. And I think with, you know, we've been offered engines for next year for over 30 million euros, you know, for the supply. I thought that was for 3 years, but apparently it was for 1 year. And, you know, I think that it's just got crazy. It's just too much.
How much did the V8s cost as an average for the teams down the pit lane?
Probably about 10 or 12.
Yeah, that's a massive difference, isn't it?
And may I ask, is that, Susie, is that 30 million, is that for an engine that's going to win you a race? I don't think so.
Well, I mean, the year that we won each of the World Championships, we were paying around 12 million euros for the engine. And, you know, as a customer, as an independent team, at that kind of level, you know, you could go and buy an engine and you could be competitive. That's not, unfortunately, quite the case today.
Do CVC care enough to change the rules?
We have to ask them. They refused point blank to come and talk to us. I think it's their obligation. I think Donald Mackenzie should come and say to us, this is how I see the future of Formula One. Yes, I own it. And we would be supportive of him if we actually had a clue as to where does he think he wants to go.
Christian, now the season is over.
Yeah. Thank God.
That's the happiest I've seen you look all year.
Absolutely.
You look so
That's the happiest you've looked all year.
Yeah.
I just said that.
Oh, sorry.
It's like an echo going on here.
Scottish-Irish echo.
Honestly, a Scotsman, an
you listen to
Irishman
anything
and
I
an
say.
Englishwoman went into a bar. Guess what happened? Christian, it's the end of the season. You've had to be quite cagey about everything. Can you tell us anything else now that you haven't told us already this weekend?
Not really. I can tell you that we've got an engine for next year. We've got an agreement. I think hopefully we should be able to announce in the next week, so long as nothing else changes subsequent to this weekend. And hopefully we'll be able, with that product, to start moving it forward and start moving up the grid. And we desperately need to do that.
And do what you wanted to do this season.
Absolutely.
Can you undertake to us 100% that Renault and their people will supply you and honour that contract?
Can I 100? Well, look, what in life is 100%? Well, I know what I've signed.
With a degree of certainty, because you know what's going on, I know what's going on.
I know that I've got an agreement for the supply of an engine for next year, and wait and see what it's called. It'll be something quite good. I don't think Ron Dennis will be too happy, but then he's not been very happy recently.
Well, I've just said he should retire because I don't think it's right that McLaren fans...
You're going for it today, aren't you?
I'm really big time on it here today. Not because the thing about it is not talking about somebody else. My attitude about McLaren is to finish 9th and with 2 world champions in the car is simply unacceptable. I'm a fan of McLaren's, believe that or believe it not. And I said, if Ron can't manage this situation where the 2 drivers don't know where they're staying or not staying, he's saying one thing, they're saying the other thing, somebody has to go. And I'm afraid it has to be him.
But is their car that bad?
I don't, that's what I'm asking you.
No, the car's quite good, and also Ron's a shareholder, so it's very difficult to fire yourself.
Yeah. And, I think that their problems are just to a greater scale of what we've, endured the last year or so, and hopefully they'll get it sorted out.
Christian, thank you very much. Eddie Jordan has broken the internet, ladies and gentlemen, but essentially everybody agrees with you. What's going on down there?
Well, they all look Hamilton passing
they're all
by,
wearing Eddie masks. We don't need any more Eddie Jordans in this vicinity at the moment. Christian, thank you so much for your time, and we wish you all the best next week and everything you've done for us this season, and it's great to have such a good relationship with Red Bull, and it's so informative. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for all your support this year, and patience, and for Eddie for talking out of every orifice. But
we have finally got there, haven't we?
It's been a pleasure as usual.
Thank you very much.